So there is this issue that has been raised about MPEKETONI. It's always questionable when it comes from people who are on the verge of being convicted for murder, like Ngunjiri, Kimani, the former MP of Molo, a very toxic guy. If you hear him talking, he has a tone. That tone captures the people of Mount Kenya. And because, the religion that is sold in Mount Kenya, it is crafted in such a way that you're in a constant state of, fear. You especially when you hear those people praying and then they start, their tone starts escalating. It's meant to create an air of fear. So Kimani Ngunjiri has acquired that tone. So when he speaks and then he starts saying, you feel something. But this is these normal gaslighting tactics. You know to see them within the people, especially the most influential boomers in your locality, be it the leaders, be it the clergy, be it your parents. Your parents are very toxic, by the way. But is no doubt. I'll tell you I'll tell you how I've come to deduce that is that the Airbnbs in Nairobi, have been kept in business by Kenyans in diaspora. They fly in, and is a significant number. Half of them go home. They can go and say hi, but they cannot sleep in their homes. And then the other half, they land here, they don't even tell their families that they are around. They come, if they are scouting for land or anything, they come, they do it themselves and then go back because they can't trust their own family members. They send them money, buy this, do this, pay this, fund this. They don't pay anyone. So when I say that your parents are toxic, you remember it's a case of Kenyans in diaspora coming to Kisii, and then they were murdered by their own family members there. So toxicity has been a currency within your family network. So when I say that we have an era or generation of boomers who we need to isolate, it's not hard to isolate them. Why did Uhuru return back as president? Is because their era, they were so stupid. They are such a bunch of idiots. They did not have conversations about the Kenyatta presidency, that he was a murderer. He murdered Mau Mau leaders, Mau Mau, whatever, the officials who had remained. He murdered JM Karaoke and all, suppressed opposition. All the writings are there because we are not, I wasn't born in the 60s or the 70s, but there are people who are writing this thing. They were not allowed to see the light of day. Why? Because anytime you were trying to challenge the system, you were always suppressed by the clergy, by the generation at the time, because for them, peace, the manufactured peace that they had was inversely proportional to progress. Now I've been targeting and I've been touting this guy called Ngunjiri. He has now been acquired by the Kenya Kwisha shit show. Why has he come there? He's come there because he's been using his platforms, his social media platforms, his article in The Nation, his YouTube channel to sow the seed of negative ethnicity. So he's very valuable to any regime. He's even valuable to the foreign agencies and diplomatic missions in Nairobi. They pay him because they need their agenda to, their economic agenda, their political agenda to pass. And how does it pass? It can only pass when we are fighting amongst ourselves, be it on tribe, be it on age. There was a time where gender war was at its peak in Kenya. All of it was funded by donors and foreigners so that we can keep on fighting, so that we are not asking the right questions to the people who bear the most responsibility, who are the politicians, who are the elites. For instance, now we are talking about MPEKETONI. I would request people to just be considerate and to just be sympathetic to the plight of those people who are there, the people who are, in Molo, Burnt Forest and whatnot, because they didn't go there out of their own liking. The Kenyatta family criminal enterprise oversaw the displacements, the internal displacement of people historically from the 60s, because land that was meant to be redistributed to the locals through various share schemes and whatever, most of it was taken by the elites, especially the prime areas. So they were being left with semi-arid areas. That's where some of them were being thrown to. And then who are the other people? Who are the other major landholders we have in Kenya? Who are they? They are the settlers here who are masquerading as conservationists. I don't know who died and made them God, that they are the only ones who can conserve wild animals. and for us to be distracted, for those two clusters of the sections of the republic, for them to remain in peace, we have to keep on fighting each other. Like now, the conversation have started escalating, and then it's taking a tribal trajectory. Every time it has to take a tribal trajectory, and then Mount Kenya. Every time Mount Kenya. Don't you guys get tired of picking on Mount Kenya? When will you pick on your own elected leaders? When will you pick? Because devolution has shown us that corruption is universal. Can you show me if Mount Kenya people are the worst people since time immemorial? Can you show me what your governors have done? Can you show us what your MPs have done with the CDF? All of them have received no less than 1 billion in terms of CDF, and no less than 100 billion or 50 billion in terms of devolution money. But you have nothing to show. Why? Because corruption is universal. So can you remove those ethnic lenses? Can you remove them? And again, now the young people who are with there's that young man called So TV. I've watched his latest video, and he said he was misquoted or he was misunderstood, and his only concern is, where are we going to take the boomers? Now the boomers are behind these narratives. They are behind the chokehold that they have on the society through the church, through all these unofficial groupings. They call themselves Council of Elders, and they hide their depravity and toxicity, and they sanitize it through those outfits. Now, I want you to be very straightforward with them, because the best defense is offense. We cannot save ourselves and our generation while we have this bunch of idiots who are still exerting some level of influence on hapless young people. The young kids who are there, they don't understand that their parents are extremely stupid, irredeemably dumb, because they are the ones who have misled you to make poor voting choices. Again, I refer to the stupid women of Moranga who are singing to Okera Tene. You saw them over there. I bet right now they are suffering because they did not understand that their vote comes with a lot of power. They take elections as if it's a joke. And then when they are unable to provide opportunities, now they come and tell you, oh, now you can go abroad. They even give you and they are even fleecing you as they are giving you opportunities to go abroad. So you have to be very alert to the toxicity of the older generation. I told you Uhuru became president because they were unable, or they were stuck in an extended level of nostalgia. You can call it nostalgia, schizophrenia, because they thought that the Kenyatta era was the good old days. That's why they were electing Uhuru. And now you stand to make the same error if you don't have the conversations, because you saw the other day, and we have realized that these bastards cannot survive without government. You saw when their guns were withdrawn, when their security was withdrawn, Mama Ngina security, who was going bonkers. Oh, my mom's security, my mom's security. I even had to give her mine. So they need government. And if you'd be very naive to imagine that they are not going to make a stab, to take a stab at the presidency or political leadership at some point in their lives. So for us to avoid such a nightmare, as a recurring nightmare, we have to have the conversations that this guy, he says, and that, you remember last year they were talking about the Uhuru legacy. What has he achieved? What had he achieved? Nothing, vis-a-vis the amount of money that he stole that was rebranded as debt by the media. And so now it's the same thing. The boomers never spoke about land. They were more than happy to be displaced by the system. And in fact, they used to glamorize that displacement, because I used to talk to old bastards the Kikuyu old bastards, my elders. And they used to tell us, Kenyatta took people to Lamu because those people are lazy and they cannot farm there. If you talk to the people who are displaced themselves, they tell you how they went there. It was forceful. They were duped. They were put in trucks, and then they were dropped in the middle of nowhere, and they were made to walk for long distances. Now, this is stuff that there should be some element of justice and reconciliation for these historical injustices. But we can never get there when we are still stuck with this era of boomers who are hiding behind religion. They want to mislead you. Don't agree. Boomers are idiots.